started, and it's great to see everybody here today. My name is Amell. I am the president of the university, and I have the honor and the privilege to be a master of ceremonies for this auspicious occasion this afternoon, and it's tremendous that all of you are here. And with that, I will just now introduce Ken Neumann, who is the co-chair of the Board of Governors for the University Board of Physical Sciences. Ken Neumann was the Canadian National Director for the Steelworkers and had served in this position since 2004, representing more than 225,000 USW members. Throughout his tenure, Mr. Neumann has been instrumental in building USW grassroots strengths across Canada. Under his leadership since 2009, more than 50,000 new members have joined the union, and he's led mergers with the Industrial Allied Workers of Canada and the Telecommunication Workers Union. Born and raised in rural Saskatchewan, Mr. Neumann joined USW Local 5890 in Regina as a teenager. In 1989, he was elected USW Director for Western Canada, a position he held until 2004 when he began his career as the Canadian National Director. The floor is yours, Ken.
Well, thank you very much, Wolfgang, and for that introduction. Let me just begin by saying it's on my extent honor to say a few words as the co-chair of the governors and also at this fourth convocation ceremony. I want to also at the beginning bring greetings on behalf of Dean Windsor, who is the other co-chair, and he is the vice president of the Tech Corporation here in British Columbia. What that does, it gives you an example of how business and labor have the opportunity to work together on a very important initiative, such as Pacific Coast University in Inmar. I want to pass on my sincere congratulations to the group of the dedicated students who are going to be in convocation here today, both in the field of the Bachelor of Disability Management, along with the Advanced Certificate and the Return to Work. As you heard from Wolfgang in the introduction, is that I have been involved for many years with the Inmar and the Pacific Coast University. I can also tell you that during my career as a labor leader, I have witnessed how we've done a terrible job in regards to disability management. You all know the statistics. The statistics are that are actually terrible, is that 1% or less have a chance for those people that are injured of ever working again. The fact is that we've had a societal mentality of people usually that have disabilities usually get kicked off to the side of the curb. We've seen the situation of the awful results of depression, suicide, mental illness, addiction, and the list goes on. I know that we can do better. I know that what we witnessed since I've been involved with the Pacific Coast University under the leadership of the team that we've got, that we have paid attention. We can do a much better job. You know, people that have a disability, they have families the same as any of us. You know, no one goes to work in the morning to get injured or have a permanent disability. So the fact is that they have a place in society. They want to fend for their children. They want to fend for themselves. They want to fend for their family. So it's very important. The work that you do, the work that you've just taken the training for, will no doubt have a significant impact on early intervention. It's going to decrease the amount of addiction, the amount of suicides, the mental illness, the poverty, the homelessness, and really the work that you're doing is life-changing work. And again, on behalf of the board, I want to say thank you and congratulations to all for this great achievement.
Great, thank you very much, Ken. Certainly the steelworkers have been on the front end, along as with many other unions in trying to prevent accidents and injuries, and certainly look at better return to work outcomes. With your kind comments, I now turn it over to our chancellors, the Honorable Wouters, to say a few words. Wayne is currently a strategic and policy advisor to McCarthy Tetrold. He had a distinguished 37-year career in the federal public service, including serving 5 years as clerk of the Privy Council of Canada. As clerk, he held the roles of Deputy Minister to the Prime Minister, Secretary to the Cabinet, and Head of the Public Service. During his years with the Federal Public Service, he held the positions of Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Oceans, Deputy Minister of Human Resources and Skills Development, Secretary of the Treasury Board, and Clerk of the Privy Council until his retirement in 2014. In addition to an MA in Economics at Queen's University, he's also received honorary Doctor of Laws degrees from several universities. Please join me in welcoming our Chancellor, Wouters.
Hello, everyone. Greetings, and particularly greetings to our graduates. It's your day today, and I would like to start by acknowledging that the physical location of Pacific Coast University for Workplace Health Sciences in Port Alberni is situated on the traditional territory of the Nuu-chah-nulth First Nations. And anyone who visits that site, visits our university, is greeted by an amazing Indigenous carved welcome pole. I'd also like to recognize that while here at Weston Bay Shore Hotel in Vancouver, we're walking on the unceded traditional land of the Musqueam Nation. Again, I'm very happy to speak at our 4th convocation ceremony. And you don't know, for a chancellor, this is my best day in the university. I'm sure for our graduates, it's probably your best day as well. It's our 4th convocation, and it's our 4th convocation, but it's our first hybrid convocation. We have you here sitting, a number of you, and a number of you as well that are here with us virtually. And we welcome you as well to this great event. It's super to have this. You know, my first 2 years of chancellor, we didn't have any convocation. It took us a little while, and then we finally had our first graduate. She's here, and she's going to speak to you later. And now it's growing year by year. So I am very delighted to recognize a dedicated group of graduate students from both the university's bachelor's degree program in disability management, and of course, as well, we have some graduates of the advanced certificate in return to work. You know, since March of 2019, when we received our initial scholarship support through the visionary leadership of the CEO of Workplace BC at the time, Trevor Alexander, and its late chair of the board, Ralph McQuinn, I'm glad to say that we've had continued success with our model. And over the past years, as we have continued to support students through our various academic and continuous education programs, this type of financial support has been emulated through the generous contributions by both the Government of Canada and the Government of British Columbia. All of it has played a pivotal role in making today's event a reality, and most importantly, addresses the growing demand for return to work and disability management expertise in our country and in the world. And I want to take this opportunity to offer my sincere thanks to our dedicated faculty, staff, and of course, all the students enrolled in our programs, past and present. Your contributions and your commitment over many years have helped contribute to this moment. And I also want to thank you, Wolfgang, for your unwavering support and commitment in serving as president of PCU-WHS. None of this would have happened without your leadership. I also want to take a moment to extend our appreciation to all those in the broader community who have supported Pacific Coast University for workplace health sciences, raison d'etre, as well as our faculty and students, their friends, families, and mentors, because I know as graduates, you needed all of those and more. And last but not least, I want to, of course, offer a big thank you to the government of British Columbia and the elected members to the legislature from all parties who saw the value and long-term opportunity in laying the statutory foundation for this university. On a personal level, I made a small contribution, and I'm proud to say that in 2009, during the financial crisis, which we saw unfolding in Canada, and of course around the world, I had the opportunity to support funding for the physical campus that established our university in the Alberta Valley in Vancouver Island. And I believe that the circumstances that prompted all of us to support the establishment of this great university and realize that the need for such a unique and innovative institution was critical have not gone away. In fact, some like me might say they're getting worse. You know, we need to be very concerned with some of the most entrenched issues facing our population. You know, that lack of stable employment we hear about, and substantially underemployment, housing affordability and availability, poverty, depression, mental health concerns, and addiction all of these affect people with disabilities much more disproportionately than others. My comments are made in the context of realizing that on average, more than 80% of mental or physical health impairments occur during someone's working life. Therefore, having the right supports, professional knowledge, and empathetic workplace attitudes in place can have a major impact on the long-term social and economic outcomes for these disabled workers. And for our graduate students, the education and the knowledge and skills you have acquired during your studies at Pacific Coast University for workplace health sciences can have a profound positive impact in changing the course of this narrative and the often very negative consequences following an injury or the onset of a mental or physical health impairment. You know, I'm pleased that we are also now witnessing a slight paradigm shift in our approaches to how we see and analyze these issues. New scientific evidence that is consistent with much older anecdotal evidence confirms that the duration of a disability support correlates directly to long-term employment prospects for people with disabilities. Specifically, and according to recent OECD studies, individuals after 1 year on disability assistance, whether public or private, have a 1% or less chance of ever working again, as you've already noted. In fact, there is no jurisdiction in the world that has been successful in reducing its client numbers on disability assistance by more than 1% per year. So you have your work cut out for you, graduates. Hence, your valuable abilities that you have acquired in achieving effective return to work through early intervention will have a great impact, not only for the affected individuals, but for our society at large. Your early intervention return to work efforts will have a significant impact on current labor shortages we are seeing across the country and in many other jurisdictions around the world. It will also reduce disability stigma, enhance our collective efforts towards a more disability inclusive society, which we really need. So to you, our graduating students here and virtually, you should be immensely proud of your achievements. I know we all are. Knowing the demands of the programs, I can say that your resilience and your focus and determination have led to this day. And we are confident that your studies will potentially open up many rewarding career opportunities for you in the future. The disability rights movement in Canada has evolved over the years. We are making progress. As new legislation has come into effect both federally in 2019 and here in BC, where accessibility legislation achieved royal assent on June 17th last year. As of September 1st of this year, more than 750 public sector organizations in BC, and as of December 31st last year, all federal government departments have had to submit official accessibility plans. And let me tell you, as head of the public service, there was no such thing as accessibility plans. The thing we now need to do is take those plans and actually implement them. And that's where you folks will come in to help us do that. Not only in government, but in all sectors. So these challenges will require the type of leadership, knowledge, and engagement that you have acquired while completing your studies at PCU-WHS. We hope that the degrees and certificates you earn today, combined with your personal efforts and commitment, will drive much better outcomes for people with disabilities in the decades to come, while also supporting employers, unions, governments, and others committed to improving employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We must continue to celebrate the achievements and contributions, as well as increase public awareness, understanding, and of course, acceptance of people with differing abilities. The opportunity to find a return to employment is really absolutely essential for an individual's dignity, for their financial independence, fulfillment, mental and emotional well-being, and of course, most importantly, self-worth. We must each reflect on our own individual responsibility to take action and impact the change we want to see in our society. The contributions of disability management and return to work professionals like you, yourselves, cannot be overstated. It truly is life-changing work. All of your continued actions and struggles, I'm sure, balancing many competing personal, professional, and financial priorities in order to complete these demanding programs demonstrate this philosophy. Your own commitment to learning and excellence in disability management is exceptional. You know, suffering a serious injury or disease is not in anyone's future plans, but your skills and expertise will allow you to support those who have suffered a life-altering health impairment and assist them in navigating their own path forward so that they too can realize their potential and continue making their own valued contributions to society without being pushed to its margins. My heartfelt congratulations on your tremendous effort and achievement, and I wish you all the best in the future. You need to be successful.
Thank you very much, Wayne, for your tremendous words and words of encouragement. And on a personal level, I'm certainly very pleased that you have been supporting our efforts for more than 2 decades now, and it's made a huge difference, and collectively we can move the agenda forward. Now, gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Susan Patrick, who is our senior academic lead at PCU-WHS. Susan has a background in scientific research, university-level instruction, and course and program development. She has a PhD in neuroscience and has developed courses and course materials, as well as instructing courses, and she has been involved in the assessment of learning needs, conversion of face-to-face, online, and blended learning experiences and evaluation of the effectiveness of learning activities and assessments. So I'd like Susan to please come forward and explain the Bachelor of Disability Management program, not only to those, of course, that are very familiar with it, but also this event is being live streamed on YouTube around the world, and many individuals may not be familiar. Susan?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, graduates. Good afternoon, graduates attending virtually and all their other guests attending virtually. I am honored to be here today to celebrate the achievements of 12 individuals who, as they graduate today with an advanced certificate in return to work or a bachelor's degree in disability management. The Bachelor of Disability Management program, or BDM program, was first launched in September 2014. It was the first of its kind worldwide and still remains unparalleled, both nationally and internationally. This unique program aims to provide students with the skills, knowledge, and background to help injured employees remain at the workplace, stay at work, and return to work. The degree also prepares students to help employers and other organizations, such as service providers and insurers, establish and run cost-effectively disability management and return to work programs. Most of the students at the BDM program enter the program having already completed 60 credits at another institution, providing the elective components of the degree. Then at PCU, they complete the equivalent number of credits as specialized BDM courses. These specialized BDM courses, taught by experts in the topics, are wide-ranging, but always directly applied to disability management. In their studies, the students develop knowledge, competencies, and leadership skills in, and here comes the big list, the interaction between work and workplace and the body and mind, establishing and maintaining a safe and healthy work environment, data collection and analysis, case analysis and research methods, medical and rehabilitative clinical vocabulary and findings, legislation and policy, workers' compensation, client engagement, organizational structures, human resources and change management, insurance, benefit coordination and financial planning, return to work planning, communication and interviewing skills, stakeholder collaboration, the DM return on investment, economics, ethics, conflict resolution, unions and service coordination, and so much more, as you guys know. This is a very intense program aimed to provide students with a solid foundation in line with the occupational standards of the International Disability Management Standards Council, and thus preparing the students to begin a new career in disability management or to delve further into the DM field in which they are already working, to reshape the thinking, attitudes, and systems involving workers with disabilities. Now to our BDM and ACRTW graduates, I would like to say congratulations on your achievements. Some of you already have extensive experience in the DM field or related field, but many of you will be expanding on your current roles and even entering into the beginning of a new career and adventure. We have enjoyed working with you, enjoyed your contributions to the learning process, your ideas, your excitement, your determination. We've enjoyed you. And we're sorry to see you leave PCU, actually, but are of course happy that you have successfully completed your certificate or degree, and we are very proud of you. We wish you great success, not only in your careers, but also in your lives, your families, and in everything you do. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you very much, Susan, and for all your tremendous efforts in supporting these individuals to the point where they are today. Now it gives me pleasure to bring you greetings from the Honorable Josie Osborne, who is the member of the Legislative Assembly from Mid-Island and Pacific Rim. Unfortunately, she is at the moment leading a British Columbia delegation to London, England. There she is, so time zone wise, it does not work out with them being 8 hours ahead of us. Otherwise, she would have loved to be here or certainly be with you virtually. So let me just, on behalf of Minister Osborne read you out what she sent. As the member of the Legislative Assembly for Mid-Island Pacific Rim, it is my honor to extend a congratulatory message for today's graduates. For 28 years, the National Institute of Disability Management and Research has offered programs that provide individuals with the necessary skills to go into the workforce and help employers develop, implement, and administer effective disability management and return to work programs. We know that when people with disabilities are provided with suitable accommodations and supported with policies that recognize the importance of these accommodations, they can thrive at the workplace. By the same measure, when those accommodations are withheld, they can have devastating effects. The importance of having trained professionals to develop proper policies and procedures to ensure equality in the workplace cannot be understated. I want to say to you today that the work you do in this field will be life-changing for so many people, regardless of what industry you choose to enter. You should be incredibly proud of the hard work and dedication that got you here today. I hope each of you takes the opportunity to fully appreciate your accomplishments, and I wish you all the best of luck as you prepare to go out and change the world. Minister Josie Osborne, MLA, Mid-Island, Pacific Rim. Excuse me. Following on that, I also would like you to bring in greetings from Gord Johns, who is the Member of Parliament for Courtenay, Alberni. Gord was born and raised on Vancouver Island and has lived in Courtenay, Alberni for over 25 years, raising his family on the West Coast in the territory of the Chinooks people. He first was elected as MP in October 2015 and re-elected in 2019 and 2021. He has served as the NDP critic for small business and tourism, fisheries and oceans, and veterans affairs. And he's currently the NDP critic for mental health. Unfortunately, he has hosted me in Ottawa tonight, which is why he's not able to be with us, but sent us these greetings. Greetings to all those gathered virtually from all over the world to celebrate the convocation of this year's graduating class of Pacific Coast University for Work-Based Health Sciences. My parliamentary schedule prevents me from joining you today, but I am with you in spirit. Thank you on behalf of a grateful community for choosing to locate the campus of the world's only university specializing in work-based health sciences in the territory of the Hupakashe and Tishod First Nations in the city of Port Alberni. Congratulations to all those who are graduating today and to all those who have worked so hard to support you on your academic journey. I know that the skills and knowledge you have acquired at PCU-WHS will make a difference between both in your lives and the lives of others. Peace and courage to you all. Gord Johns, Member of Parliament, Courtenay, Alberni. After that, it now gives me a tremendous pleasure to introduce two individuals who were really the leading lights behind all of this, going back 37 years to 1986. And those two individuals are Peter Lawrie, who is with us today, who was the founding employer co-chair of INBAR in 1994, at a time when he was the Director of Industrial Relations for McMillan Waddell, which was then Canada's largest forest product company and the biggest employer in British Columbia. A graduate of the MBA program at Western University in Ontario, he held a range of significant human resource professional positions across a range of industries in Newfoundland and Labrador, Ontario, and British Columbia. And after the McMillan-Weyerhaeuser merger, he left the forest industry, became a partner in the US-based human resources consulting firm King Chapman and Broussard. Though quote unquote officially retired, he continues to provide specialized HR consulting to a select group of clients. Together with Ryan Payne, whose message will be on screen shortly, Ryan was the founding Labour co-chair of Myanmar when it opened its doors in October 1994. He had been involved in this initiative since the fall of 1986. During his entire career in Canada's pulp and paper industry, he held a range of diverse positions, spending 10 years on the shop floor as advocate at Crofton's pulp and paper mill before moving to the Canadian Paper Workers Union's Western Canada office as a staff representative, where he then became vice president, Western Canada. Following the merger between the paper workers, energy workers, and communication workers, creating the CEP, he ultimately became its president between 2000 and 2006. So starting with that, we should be able to roll Ryan's comments. We'll have.
Good afternoon, everybody. Look, I'm Brian Payne. I'm sorry I cannot attend this important event, be with you today, but I am pleased that I have the opportunity to say a few words, especially to those graduating. First, a little history, especially from my perspective as a longtime union representative and advocate for workers. My involvement with trying to find a better way forward basically goes back to the late 1980s, right after the making of the Every 12 Seconds documentary, really the Wolfgang Zimmermann story in many ways for most of us that were around at that time. Following that, we had a bit of a coming together of, in the forest industry, the pulp and paper, lumber, logging sector in British Columbia, union leaders like myself from the IWA, from big companies like McMillan, which is where Peter worked, along with representatives from various levels of federal and provincial government departments, to sort of start to brainstorm how we could maybe do a better job in this whole area of getting injured workers back on the job. At the beginning, it was all about injured workers, not so much beyond that. And to be honest, at that point, many of us, including myself, had been frustrated in dealing with the plight of injured workers, workers' compensation issues, always having appeals and things. And it had caused many of us to sort of come to the conclusion that we knew there had to be a better way. But at the same time, our initiative kind of became, well, we got to negotiate longer and better benefits for injured workers. If people are not getting back, they need to be able to be paid for an extended period of time and so forth. So we needed to do that. But at the same time, while that was important, I knew, and most of us that sat around that table fully appreciated it, there had to be better answers for workers and for employers. Lots of money was being spent with little or no success. So what could be done? So we started to look at what was happening, best practice, if you want, in other jurisdictions, even other countries. We had a considerable number of meetings, deliberations, even some tours to see what was going on in other places. And that whole process over a few years led to the creation of NIDMAR. And NIDMAR was a big initiative that I was pleased to be helped put forward and create in 1994 and served as one of the chairs of it for a long time. That whole important event, what I'll call our newfound focus, always with Wolfgang there, pushing us along the way and sometimes dragging us, because Wolfgang would never take no for an answer, and whoever it's dealt with Wolfgang knows that. So, but we did make progress. Our initiatives were starting to bear fruit. In 1998, I recall that NIDMAR was asked to help develop the UN standard for disability. So things were happening. And all along, our efforts were focused on how we could do a better job for workers, but also make it clear, our deliberations found this, that there was good money to be saved for employers by getting often very trained workers back into the workplace, making the accommodations, getting the retraining, not just pensioning them off onto disability. And so that was, we knew that was where we needed to go. And so there was a lot of work, a lot of efforts. Nobody put more heart and soul into it than Wolfgang. I was just pleased to be part of it and to help keep it a priority amongst the workforce that I represented and beyond that, and keep that whole discussion moving forward. So those were important times, getting these things off the ground. Obviously, I can't help but be pleased as somebody who was involved in that in the very beginning to see what is now happening. The graduation that we're celebrating today, those who are graduating from university, the success that's happening there, the creation of trained, devoted management and labor reps who will be working together to help create the outcomes in the workplace that we all hoped we could do. When we sat around over 35 years ago talking about there's got to be a better way forward. So I guess my message of encouragement to the delegates is don't drop the ball. That's an old saying, but don't drop the ball, because you're part of helping make the difference going forward. In the union movement, you know, we have a saying, the way we describe our task as union reps is that our task is eternal. Well, doing a better job for injured and disabled workers is an eternal task, and you can help make a difference. I congratulate you. Go out into the workforce and make that difference. Thank you very much.
Yeah, for those comments, it really wasn't for Peter and Brian's commitment for what was really thought of to be sometimes a bit of an irrational idea some 37 years ago, when we didn't have human rights legislation, we didn't have the duty to accommodate. We basically had absolutely nothing. We didn't have ILO codes, we didn't have United Nations conventions and so on. We wouldn't be here where we are today. Certainly when I got hurt in 1977, a long time ago, not dating myself here, none of that was around, but here we are today. And having said that, I now would like you to please welcome P. Lawrie to say a few words.
Thank you, Wolfgang. And as Brian says, those that have worked with Wolfgang for any length of time have the emotional scar tissues to show for it. So I thank you for the opportunity to congratulate this year's graduates. I'd like to challenge you too, because well, it feels like it's finished. One chapter is done, and now the who did it in the book is yet to be determined. So I'd like to challenge you to uphold the faith and your commitment to making a profound positive difference in disabled workers' lives, their families' lives, and their communities, because everybody's in play there. As founding co-chairs, Brian and I thought it might be useful to chat a little bit about the roots of NIDMAR from whence this day comes. Wolfgang and I started, he told me yesterday that we started working in 37 years ago. That kind of stood me up a bit. Starting with every 12 seconds, as Brian said, as a group, union management, Wolfgang and others, we began to fact find, research. We went to Germany, we were hosted generously. We had other people from other countries come that Wolfgang had contacts with, and we began building international partnerships, which continue to exist today and are crucial. We interviewed disabled workers, in some cases their families. And so, as Brian said, it became a new model, became evident to us that what we were doing was not only not successful, but it was irresponsible. And management and union both kind of appreciated that. And so the work began. Many people that are in the room on the screen were involved from the start. Many others have picked up the torch, and carried it much further than we ever did, which is what we're seeing today. I remember 30 years ago that we were at a boardroom at GF Strong. There were a number of people, unfortunately, some of them who are no longer with us, but many people who are still involved and active. And at GF Strong, we chartered what we thought Mid-Mark could be. That's a group. Keeping in mind at that time, we didn't have $1.50 to our name. Maybe we had a cup of coffee, but it was, what is it that we really want to accomplish? What is it that we would want to be a part of to make it worthwhile? And the charter included becoming a leading voice in the world for pragmatic research and for action-based, consensus-based return to work. Setting international standards based on best practices. Create the best outcome for the worker. And the pathway to progress is through partnership at home and abroad. So that was the charter we kind of created for ourselves. And there were no bricks, no mortar at the time. But we did have a room full of what I like to call wingnuts and zealots, who are capable literally of changing the world. And we were committed to do the right thing. That was what it was. Brian and I would like to challenge all of the new grads to consider, first and foremost, your change leaders. You're competent, professional, certified, you're change leaders. That's the job. Take on the impossible. Support each other. Again, crucial. When one reaches out, you've got to support them, got to help them. And you're developing what I would call a cadre of change. Look for partnerships. And number 5, don't get discouraged. Because it will happen. And how that you're discouraged is not newsworthy. How you respond to it is definitive. What you're doing profoundly matters. And I thank you for taking it on, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Peter, for those well-spoken words. And certainly, if it wasn't for their commitment, as I mentioned earlier, and in terms of Peter being able to bring Macmillan Waddell's economic support to what we were trying to do, which was absolutely necessary, and Brian bringing the support at those days of the labor community across the country to bear made all the difference. So we've got some great opportunities, and I appreciate both of them being here and all of you to recognize that. Now, moving on, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our very first graduate, Shanna Ramm, who is the Director of Disability Management Services for the Saskatchewan Government Employees Union. Shanna achieved both her Bachelor of Disability Management degree and her certification as a Certified Disability Management Professional in 2020. Shanna has over 15 years of experience in human resources and disability management, and notes her most significant career accomplishments as being development and delivery of value-added return to work programs and disability management programs, as well as wellness programming with a focus on psychological wellness that supports positive return to work and work retention outcomes. Please join me in welcoming Shanna.
First, I have to say, following Brian and Peter, no pressure, hey? No pressure put on any of us. But what I was really struck by, or what really struck me was 30 years ago, you wrote that charter. That charter is what we all learned. That charter is what we take forth. That is really our guiding light. So well done. All of you. Today marks a significant milestone, a moment of celebration, and the culmination of dedication and perseverance. I can myself attest to the amount of work and time you have committed to attaining the BDM or the certification return to work. It is much the same. I'm deeply honored to address you all today as a like-minded professional with a passion for disability management, and I'm excited by the strides society is making in inclusivity and return to work and what our role can be within that movement. In a world striving for equality and fairness, disability management emerges as a crucial pillar of our responsibility. It's not merely about accommodating differences, it's about embracing diversity and creating environments that foster respect, support, and empowerment for every individual, and removing barriers to success for everyone regardless of disability. Throughout your academic journey, you've gained insights, knowledge, and expertise in the intricate facets of disability management. You've delved into the importance of accessibility, case management, accommodations, problem solving, injury reduction strategies, and learned about the profound impact these measures can have on the lives of individuals facing diverse challenges. Your role as professionals in disability management and return to work is not just a career path, it's a commitment to change lives, dismantle barriers, and champion inclusivity. Whether in healthcare, HR, workplace safety, policy making, or insurance, contributions hold the power to transform our communities into more empathetic and accommodating and accepting spaces. Remember, progress in disability management isn't confined to regulations and physical accommodations alone. It's about nurturing a culture where differences are embraced, where empathy and understanding are the norm. I think that's why we were driven into this occupation, and where everyone is valued for their unique strengths. Your journey beyond the virtual walls of the classroom that you sat in for the last couple of years will be a testament to your dedication to making a difference. As you move forward to be the catalysts for change, be the advocates who amplify the voices, the innovators who design solutions, and the allies who stand alongside those that are in need. I've had the opportunity to be the one to promote and increase accommodation for large mining organizations, and now with the Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Union, representing employees of the largest employer in Saskatchewan. I've seen successes in the form of the individual faces of the people that we help, and management learning what an inclusive return to work and how that can contribute to workplace productivity and success. I'm proud to have you all join me in being graduates from the prestigious Pacific Coast University for Workplace Health Sciences. Get used to saying that very long. And this university is one of a kind and a leader in the movement of accessibility and inclusivity, and so are you. There are no words to capture how excited I am to see our alumni grow and contribute. Thank you for joining me in this endeavor for change.
Great, thanks a lot, Shanna, for your great comments, and certainly, I'm sure you'll be aware that as the very first graduate, you'll be coming back at every year's convocation. So moving on, it now gives me great pleasure to ask Dr. Tyler Amell, our registrar, to offer some congratulatory remarks. Tyler is an internationally recognized thought leader on the topic of workplace health and productivity, and is a frequent speaker and writer on the topic. He's Chief Health and Strategy Officer at MediKeeper. His experience includes roles as partner and vice president at a global human resources consulting, technology, and services firm, as well as Chief Executive Officer over the Human Resources and Technology Company. He has a PhD in rehabilitation science from the University of Alberta. Please join me in welcoming Tyler.
Thank you very much, Wolfgang, and good afternoon, everyone. We're all excited to share this momentous day with you and are so proud of what you've achieved during your studies at Pacific Coast University for Workplace Health Sciences. There's that very long title again. I use it a lot. I love it. It poses a lot of questions from people who want to learn more. They lean in and say, wow, I've never heard of that. Tell me more. So I think that long term really helps us out in that respect. You'll soon be entering the workforce, or in some cases, continuing to work in the field of workplace health, with many of you specializing in work disability management. Now, from my perspective, your timing couldn't be better. You know, there's never been a spotlight so brightly focused on workplace health at this point. You know, I'm an occupational epidemiologist by training, as Wolfgang mentioned. You know, I did a degree in rehab medicine and a few other ones in rehab medicine throughout my training, and I can safely say that the SARS-CoV-2 virus and the associated COVID-19 pandemic has really demonstrated that to employers, the success of their organizations and their people and their workers and their culture is predicated on a foundation of health. And this has really changed a lot for employers who wouldn't necessarily have bought into that idea. Now, the mental health crisis has grown. Stress, depression, anxiety levels are at an all-time high. Every year, we fulfill more scripts for antidepressants and anxiolytic medications than we have in the previous year. So these aren't good benchmarks. But at the same time, you know, chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes, heart and lung disease, cancer, and of course, musculoskeletal injuries and illnesses, they've not gone away. They've not gone anywhere. And so really this has elevated people like us with a passion and some credibility in workplace health in the minds of those employers, because we can really help them attract and retain and keep healthy and productive the best and brightest people in their workplaces and in our workforces. Now, it's not always been this way. I can safely say that many of us celebrating with you here today have fought to have the needs of struggling or injured or ill workers addressed in an equitable manner. You know, I have countless stories of myself and my colleagues banging our heads against the wall with some employers who don't value the health of their people, often to their own detriment. And perhaps, who knows, perhaps in addition to having fun with all the students, this is one of the reasons why I've lost all my hair over the years, is that the stress of dealing with a lot of these employers. Now, I've been working in this space for over 25 years, and I wear a few hats, as Wolfgang mentioned. And it's good because the top of my head burns a lot more easily these days than it used to, that's for sure. Now, not only as I'm a registrar at Pacific Coast University for Workplace Health Sciences, but I teach several courses as well. I recognize all the names of the graduates here today, and I'm so proud and happy to be here. But as Wolfgang mentioned, you know, I consult with large employers, with big insurance companies, and even with health services providers on their workplace health strategies. And so having that as something that I do on a regular basis opens up a lot of doors, so I can have a lot of conversations with folks. And in addition to all those things, I actually speak at a lot of events, as Wolfgang mentioned, all over the world on workplace health and productivity. And because I'm in contact with all of these people, I get to give keynote addresses at conferences and have interesting conversations with people who are like-minded and who share this common interest in workplace health. And this goes from people with a human resources background, human resources leaders, work disability management specialists, employee benefits practitioners, occupational health professionals, even health and safety professionals, mental health practitioners, health promotion specialists, and of course, C-suite executives through to frontline workers and their supervisors. And I cherish each and every interaction with these people. And they're your colleagues in the world of integrated workplace health. And so I learn from them, and I learn every day, and I encourage you to do the same thing. I learn about the challenges that they're facing, and these challenges include those in the area of health promotion. You know, how do we sustain engagement and reduce the impact of chronic disease and chronic conditions, which for the large part are preventable through various mechanisms that we know very well. The health promotion and protection aspect of our approaches. Legislative compliance, of course, is part of that. absence of leave management, we know this quite well. Work disability management, even early intervention, stay at work, return to work programming, even occupational medicine and occupational rehab, where I spend a fair bit of time as well, and even sometimes invoke rehab. These are all subjects that come to mind, and people who represent these areas come forward and they ask questions. And the common thread that I see is that these people are looking for your help. They're looking for people like you for answers to evidence-informed and outcome-driven strategies that have demonstrable success in supporting their use. These people, the people who employ us, the people we work with, they want to know what the research says and how best to implement health and disability solutions for their people. Now, this is where you, as new graduates, come in with your fresh ideas. You know, the workplace is a rich tapestry, and I use this analogy a lot, with many intertwined threads. And workplace health and disability management practices can touch on every single one of those threads as long as people are involved. And with your newly conferred degrees and certificates, you're going to play a pivotal role in helping those people from all those professions and organizations and the employers of today, as well as tomorrow, protect and promote the health of their most valuable and important asset, which is, of course, their people. So we wish you all the best in your future endeavors and your lives as alumni of Pacific Coast University for Workplace Health Sciences. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's tremendous for Tyler to be making these comments, and we certainly bang on. They're calling 5 minutes. Okay, so what we'll do is perhaps the minister will be calling 5 minutes our keynote speaker. So about what I'd like to do then in the interim perhaps is get Professor Dr. Kara Arnold to introduce graduating students for the conferral of degrees and certificates by the Chancellor. Dr. Kara Arnold is PCU-WHS's Chief Academic Officer. In this consulting role, Kara provides invaluable support to educational delivery and development aspects, including the academic and continuing education components of PCU-WHS. She's a professor in organizational behavior and human resource management in the Faculty of Business Administration at Memorial University in St. John's, Newfoundland, where apart from having received many awards, she's also served as Associate Dean of Research and Director of the PhD and Master of Science programs. Please join me in welcoming her.
I need my notes. Thank you, Wolfgang, and thanks to everyone, to all of the wonderful comments and the history, and congratulations to the graduates. It's your day today, and I'm really just excited to be part of this convocation ceremony, and just thrilled to be able to celebrate your achievements with you. I do have some feedback from your instructors. And from what they say, this is an incredible, don't be worried, this is an incredible group of students in terms of their resilience and their determination. And several of you have overcome some significant challenges that could have really easily derailed your completion of your program. But you're here today and you've exhibited that resilience. And as many people have mentioned, you're either in the world or ready to go out into that world of work and make a difference in people's lives. So congratulations. We have some in person, we have some online, and we have some who unfortunately couldn't make it today. I'm going to call everyone's name, and if you're here in person, I would invite you to come on up and to get your certificate and your diploma. And I'm going to ask our esteemed Chancellor to be the one to hand those out to you.
So for the conferral of the Bachelor of Disability Management, Andrea Heather Ackhurst. Carlene Bolar. Not sure if Carlene is online or not, perhaps not. We congratulate her. Sarah Lillian Bell Clark is unfortunately not able to be here, but she. Sarah Cosco is going to be attending our reception later. She's also a valedictorian, so I'll give you a few more details about her in a few moments. Mary Catherine Demaculangan. Christine Food. Vanessa Rose Mara. Nancy Lynn Sains, and I do believe Nancy is online. Cassandra Carmen Felice is not able to be here with us, but and these are the students who are completing with their advanced certificate in return to work. Josie George also not able to be here with us today. Jill C. Morgan, do you believe online? Joy Cam, who is also online.
All right, that is tremendous. Many congratulations to all of you and for everybody that was part of your success. It now gives me a great honor and privilege
On there, I don't see him. Yeah.
to introduce the Honorable Harry Baines, who is our who is the BC Minister of Labor. He was first elected MLA for Surrey Newton in May of 2005 and re-elected in 2009, 2013, and 2017. He served as the official opposition spokesperson for forests, lands, and natural resource operations. He has been active in the Surrey community for many years, serving on the Kwantlen University College Board of Governors. As well, he has served as vice chair for 3 of those years as the director of the Human Resources Board. He has also volunteered with organizations such as Habitat for Humanity. He has an extensive background in community service. He was an elected officer of Steelworkers IWA Local Canada Local 2171 for over 15 years. And he served most recently as vice president of his local, where he led negotiations and engaged in bargaining for better working conditions for working people. Please join me in welcoming British Columbia's Minister for Labor, who has been a tremendous supporter for return to work initiatives.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction, and good afternoon, friends. I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person. I really wanted to, but I'm grateful for this technology that is available to us, that I could do my work here at the same time speak to you online here. But I would like to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from territorial Lekwungen-speaking people and Songhees and Esquimalt nations. First of all, let me offer my sincere congratulations to all of the graduates. Congratulations for the work you have put in to get to this momentous point. And thank you for the work that you will be doing as you will be applying what you have learned to your chosen fields. Much of your work will focus on accessibility and accommodations for people with disabilities. And that is such important work. Our government stands along with you and is committed to removing barriers, as you are all trying to do through your work there, and creating an inclusive community where people with disabilities have equal access to every opportunity. We believe so strongly in that goal that a year ago, Premier appointed a Parliamentary Secretary for Accessibility to make sure that our government listens to the voices of people with disability and that we use their lived experiences to inform our work. It's also why in 2021, we brought in Accessibility BC Act, which recognizes that disability can include, but not limited to, physical, sensory, mental, intellectual, and cognitive challenges. And many disabilities and impairment can be invisible, and we all know that, which adds different challenges when determining what accommodations must be made at workplaces. The Accessibility Act provides an important legal framework to help identify, remove, and prevent barriers to the full and equitable participation of people living with disabilities. Our government has set the example for commitment laid out in the Act by requiring over 750 public sector organizations to establish accessibility plans and committees in their workplaces. These organizations include local governments, post-secondary institutions, school districts, municipal police departments, and many crown corporations and agencies. No doubt, many of your graduates and you will be working in these organizations and contributing to these and those efforts. Now, as a Minister of Labor, my top priority are to prevent workplace injuries and to support injured workers, because WorkSafe BC comes under my jurisdiction. So we must do everything we can to prevent injuries and deaths at workplaces. Every minute of every day, it must be number one consideration, priority at every work site. Because all workers have the right to come to work, go home in the same shape they went in with, safe and healthy. Because all workers have the right to a minimum of making sure that their health and safety is protected at workplaces. We owe to them, and anything less is not acceptable to me. I know many of you in the room, it's not acceptable to you. It's certainly not acceptable to their families and the workers. But when tragically workplace injury or illness occur, we must support the workers and their families, because they all deserve to be fully supported during such a difficult time that they go through. Which is why we made amendments to the Workers' Compensation Act last year to bring more fairness to the compensation system, make more worker-centric workers' compensation system, to make it more focused on what the workers' needs are. And I'm sure you're aware, one of those amendments was to establish a legal duty in the Workers' Compensation Act for employer to accommodate injured workers back to the job that they were injured at, pre-injury work. And also, if not at that particular job, find another suitable job for them. Legal duty comes fully into force in just a few weeks on January 1st. It means that the both employer and workers will have the legal obligation to cooperate with each other and with WorkSafe BC to improve the return to work processes and outcomes for the injured workers. It just makes sense because it benefits both the workers and businesses. Work is a big part of our life, and remaining connected to the workplace and feeling valued help workers recover faster. For businesses, they see the benefit of retaining a skilled and experienced worker, and it boosts productivity, and we all know that. It can be a complicated process though, and that of course is where you come in. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that nothing about your work will be one size fit all. You will need all the skills you have learned through your studies. I'm talking to the graduates, and all the tools that are available to you. But I have no doubt that you are all well prepared and ready for these challenges. At the end, friends, make no mistake, it is very important work that you soon will be embarked on. It is the simplest term. Your entire focus is on improving people's lives in very real ways. And not only that, you're supporting some of the most vulnerable people in our society. Those who may face challenges due to diversity or mental or physical abilities. And those who have been injured on the job and need support to return to meaningful employment. And each and every one of those people is unique. They have unique challenges and unique requirements, and they each need unique solutions. So in your work, you will need common sense, practicality, and sometimes creativity. And above all, you will need empathy and commitment. Empathy for challenges each of your client is facing, and commitment to find a path forward that support both workers and businesses. This is no small task. So once again, I say thank you for the work you have put into your studies. Thank you, you as a university, institution, putting these and giving the opportunity to your students to acquire the skills and acquire what it takes to be successful in workplaces. And thank you for the work ahead of you. And again, congratulations to all of you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Really, really happy to be here with you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person.
Thank you very much, Minister Payne, for your tremendous comments and for your leadership, as well as taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak to our graduates today. So that's tremendous. With that, now it's time for me to introduce the valedictorian, Sarah Cosco, the valedictorian for the 2023 graduating class of the Bachelor of Disability Management program. Unfortunately, as we heard earlier, she's not able to join us for the convocation ceremony and has pre-recorded her valedictorian address. So that should be playing, hopefully.
Hello. When I told my friends that I'd been selected as a possible valedictorian, one of them suggested I use ChatGPT to write the speech. Immediately, my sense of academic integrity was ruffled. That said, I have a worker who told me that they use ChatGPT to write professional emails to their case manager, and that made me think, what does it take to write a professional email? You need some command of the language. You need to be able to focus on a single task, to stare at a screen or a tiny font, to be able to dictate into a computer or type on a keyboard. You also need to be able to express yourself. And not everyone has those abilities. So what I used to think was the mortal enemy of academia I now see as a neutral party and perhaps a very valid answer to a worker in need. PCU, what have you done to me that I now analyze every new innovation for its potential as a modification or accommodation, and I am breaking down every task into its physical and cognitive components. For those who don't know me, I began my educational career with a bachelor's in health sciences, and then went on to pursue a master's in health promotion with the intention of becoming a researcher. Despite methodologies such as participant action research and being able to conduct qualitative interviews, I just felt that the human connection piece was missing, so I decided to change tracks. My most recent background is in acute healthcare. There, I was humbled to meet people on the worst days of their lives and be positioned to support them to the next day. When I reflect on the difference between disability management and healthcare, I think of the saying, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. Now, I do not want to undermine the importance of healthcare. This is a mission critical fish that they are providing their patients, and the patients will surely starve if they do not get them. But it does beg the question, what about tomorrow? Who is caring for this person tomorrow? And who is helping this person navigate a post-injury world? We do. Disability management resides at the crossroads of health, law, and finance. Individually, these are three stressful circumstances, and here we are, perched right at the intersection of them all. Our pivotal role allows us to walk beside someone during some of their most overwhelming moments, and we have the tools and knowledge to smooth their path. Our relationship with them may last weeks, it may last years. Their recovery might be straightforward, or it might be complex with starts and stops and setbacks. But we have an opportunity to carry our knowledge forward. Not only do I think there is a room for our knowledge and our compassion, I think there is a desperate need for it. In a world that is becoming more and more polarized, in a world that is becoming increasingly less certain, I think there is a desperate need for knowledgeable and compassionate disability management professionals who can take a worker where they're at and support them through where they need to go. What an amazing opportunity to be part of, and how wonderful to have the skills and knowledge to support someone. But our job isn't easy. Midway through a degree, I lost my dad. It was unexpected, and he was my best friend. During my practicum, I came face to face with workers who had just lost their parents and who were overwhelmed with grief. I remember feeling scared to make those initial calls because I felt so triggered. I remember feeling a swell of empathy, but also having a corner of my mind say, careful. You need to be objective. You need to be unbiased, and you need to be professional. You might want to connect with this person and tell them you know what they're feeling, but you need to stop. You don't know. Every worker is different, and this conversation isn't about you. You need to be understanding, you need to be kind, you need to be compassionate, all of these things. You need to listen and you need to be present. And when you're finished, at the end of your day, you need to take care of yourself. I know we will all face challenges while working in this field. Disability management is dynamic. There will always be new medical treatments, new laws and policies for us to learn the ins and outs of, and new health concerns that will be affecting our workers. But I want to remind you that we went to PCU. We were taught by professors from a broad range of backgrounds, from occupational health and safety, occupational therapy, educational and industrial psychology, health economics, and rehabilitation sciences, just to name a few. Our courses covered a broad range of subjects. physical impairments, worker retention, research, case management, communication, mental health, and the mind at work. I want to remind you that we're prepared. Across our courses, our practicums, our research, we learnt and built our skills in developing rapport and meaningful connections. We critically examined case studies and discussed contemporary health issues. We learnt to collaborate and come to consensus even when we were arguing for different priorities. We developed a strong value in multiple perspectives, weaving together the information from our stakeholders and our workers and using it to build return to work plans, policies, programs, and provide tailored supports that benefit all parties. So on behalf of the graduating class of 2023, I would like to extend my gratitude and thanks for all the professors at PCU and all the support staff at PCU who provided us with these foundations from which we can grow our careers and meet all the new challenges of this ever-changing world. I would like to extend my thank you to my peers and classmates for supporting one another and sharing your knowledge and wisdom. I know each and every one of you will step forth and make a difference in these uncertain times. You are ready. Thank you.
And that's a very poignant address that certainly highlights not only the challenges, but most importantly, all the opportunities that all of you collectively are faced with, and the difference that you can make in the lives of individuals with disabilities that who are facing major challenges, whether they be social, economic, personal, or otherwise. So after that, of course, that gives me now the opportunity to bring to a conclusion Convocation 2023, and you will be able to party shortly once this room has been reset, and all of you, of course, will be more than willing to support you in your celebrations. So, having said that, the Chancellor will bring the convocation to a conclusion, and certainly would like to thank all of the tremendous speakers for their encouraging, leading edge comments, and will continue to drive an agenda that will move all of us further, laced with innovation, thought leadership, and best practice. Congratulations.
Well, I think there's been more than enough speeches. The one thing you have to do, for those who haven't, take it from the right to the left. You're all graduates. There you are. That ends our ceremony. Best of luck to you all. Well done. Let's go have a drink.